The midterms are still 15 months away at this point, but it's never too soon to start talking about them, and it's never too soon to start warning the Democratic Party that things aren't looking very good for you. The latest piece of evidence is the fact that according to 538's average of polling, President Biden has now slipped below 50% for the first time in his presidency, his relatively short presidency. But here's the thing, he's at 49.3% approval rating. So he just barely slipped below that 50% mark. However, and this is the most important part, reports came out late last week before Afghanistan showing that Democrats were already in trouble heading into the midterms. And one of the big reasons for that is because Republicans get to redistrict or redraw more than double the amount of districts that Democrats get to draw ahead of the midterms. So Republicans already have gerrymandering and redistricting on their side to begin with. Then, of course, you have the historical models where typically the president who comes into power, if they control the House and Senate, they typically lose control of at least the House in the first midterm following their election. It's just a thing that happens. There are a few exceptions out there, but most of the time, this rings true. It happened to Trump. It happened to Obama. So that's terrifying. It happened to Clinton. That was already bad news for the Democrats. But those reports also came with a glimmer of hope. And they said, hey, at least Biden has more than 50% approval rating, which typically means he'll do well in the midterms. The Democrats will. That's what happened to George W. Bush. That's why he didn't suffer from that. Of course, we were in the middle of a war on terror. America was still reeling from the events of 9/11 the year before in the 2002 midterms. So yeah, he got a little boost from that because his approval rating was above 50%. Obama's was not, Trump's was not, and now Biden's is not. Now he has 15 months to turn this whole thing around. And when the infrastructure bill finally gets passed, and if Democrats can get that reconciliation bill passed, that $3.5 trillion benefit for American citizens, suddenly we're looking at a new situation here. If we can start these investments into the American public, his approval rating will go up. And Democrats may stand a better chance in the 2022 midterms. But it all comes down to whether or not they can actually deliver for the American public. By the time they go to the polls in November of 2022, voters need to have something physical or something they can see maybe on their way to work, a new construction project, repaved roads, new bridges, whatever it is, something tangible that they're aware of to take with them to the polls. Metaphorically take with them to the polls. You're not obviously going to take a bridge or a road. But you know what I mean. They have to be able to take something with them when they go to vote so that they know, yes, the Democrats promised big things, the Democrats delivered big things, let's see what we can get from another couple years of that. But if they do not deliver, even if it's because of Republican obstruction and lies and disinformation, doesn't matter the cause of it because the public doesn't pay as much attention as you folks watching this video. The general public is not out there glued to these political videos. They're not reading political news. They just go about their daily lives, and politics is something they worry about in elections. Most Americans are like that. So if they go to the poll and say, well, you know what? Democrats made some big promises and they didn't deliver, so let's see what the other folks have to offer. That's where we're at. And an unpopular president, again, barely below 50%, but anything below 50 is worrisome. That could give Republicans the edge to sweep the 2022 midterms, which would effectively kneecap the rest of Biden's administration. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.